It's time for a death battle!
Man, even just from the opening shot, I'm in awe. Beyond a couple nitpicks, if you had told me this was a preview teaser shot for Beyond the Spider-Verse, I would have believed you. In fact, this whole first segment feels like such a great nod to Miles' most iconic appearances. While this incarnation may be the ultimate Spider-Man of the comics, referencing the art style of the movies that made Miles a mainline superhero in the first place was such a great choice. I find it interesting that Miles' Spidey sense went off as he passed by Deku. Granted, the comic Miles has a much better sense than the movie one, or hell, even the game one, so maybe it's just super hyper-aware. Or, what could be my fun theory from their writing style, is that Miles actually had a spider sense reverb with Deku's danger sense. Kinda like what the Spidey people have from Spider-Verse. Could be a launch shot, but I think that'd be pretty cool. Also, I'll touch on it more near the end, but another amazing touch, at least for the intro part, is that despite it being a comic book, Midoriya is still drawn in full black and white manga style. Like he's just a completely new dimension hopper visiting from the noir universe. And the burst into full color as Deku quite literally jumps out of the comic panel into New York. The CYMK dots and ribbons turning the panel into black and white as it fades away. Beautiful details. And still on the details, the attention to Deku's suit and gadgets. It's like he just jumped straight out of the end of Season 7, ready to show down in a foreign country.
Yo! You're more man and less spider than usual.
So, is this Miles trying to taunt and make himself feel less awkward? Or is he on the assumption that he's just talking to a super bizarre spider variant? Either way, that's a fun line.
Care to show me what you can do?
Ever the challenger, Deku would seek out a superhero that he's read about to learn from them and gain new skills.
First lesson? Don't watch the mouth.
He says while pointing at his covered up mouth, turning invisible. But, like, seriously, if it wasn't obvious enough, this may be a comic variant. This Miles clearly has more in common with his movie counterpart than we give credit for. And an immediate showcase of animation skills, both in particle effects and rigging animation. The air blasts from Air Force look near perfect to the anime versions, and Miles easily weaves through them like it's just another Tuesday.
Let's try that one more time.
I mean, if you're gonna start internally monologuing about being a Spider-Man, then sure. This Miles must share a universe with the Peter Parker who also showed up in Death Battle. That's just straight up the finishing movie pulled on Batman. I like to think that Deku didn't even intend to break Miles' web shooters and that just grabbed his wrist on instinct to block an attack. But impressive that it actually took Miles a moment to register that that happened.
Oh, mierda.
Good way to get around English censoring there, Miles. If you're really that curious, look it up, but that context should be enough. I love that inclusion. Not only another great nod to the movies, but also an important thing to remember about Deku's power. Foe 100%, which is created through Fajin, lets Deku zip around faster than bullets, and in most cases faster than sound. So of course the scream would travel slower in a standing position.
I moved us to an abandoned part of the city so we can go all out!
Great call, sometimes not even the My Hero universe accounts for that and have civilians get hurt constantly. The best fights happen when the combatants don't have to hold back. What a tracking shot! I can only imagine how long it must have taken to get the movement down perfectly, and it paid off really well. It ain't a showdown with superheroes if there isn't a moment where they both land a hit and are repelled away from each other's raw power. This animation, this shot, dude. I could frame this and it still couldn't convey the true majesty of the shot. Miles rising in frame to face his fears, Deku falling in frame to meet his opponent on equal terms. It not only keeps the spirit of the shot this is clearly paying homage to intact, but also enhances it in its own unique ways.
Sarah was right! Your quirk is amazing!
Man, as a My Hero buff, I love that that was included. For context, Sero is one of Midoriya's classmates, and he's probably the one character in the whole series that acts like a direct homage to Spider-Man, even has a similar power and fight style. It's also in-universe canon that Sero's favorite superhero is Spider-Man, so I actually fully believe that they have nerded out over the webhead's antics together before.
Amazing is my buddy.
Never one to pass up an opportunity to glaze your mentor, huh, Miles? Also, obvious reference to both the amazing and ultimate titles of the Spider People aside, can we just address that Miles just threw a freaking Venom Hadouken?
His suit has shock absorption, not nullification. So, it's got a limit.
Now, did he remember that lesson from All Might or from Fleck Turn? Either way, that's a win. In case you got confused as to why all the pieces of the building flew into Miles, remember that Deku's in gear shift mode. That quirk lets him change the speed of anything he touches at will. That means anything, even things that his feet touch. You can even see a white outline on any of the pieces he lands on and runs across. They get stalled in place, then Deku releases them at a higher speed to try and crush Spidey. But mere buildings won't stop an overdrive Mega Venom Blast. I mean, Miles can barely survive those. I just gotta pack like as many wins as I can here. Miles saying the leap of faith in Spanish, yet another tie-in to the movie self. Deku shouting his school motto. The fluidity of the particles and the electricity and the movement clash, creating a miniature nuke that clearly has an effect on the abandoned city. Just so much epicness and awesomeness that these two just give it their all to win this fight. And the last time Deku did the super punch like that, his arm got completely destroyed, even with gear. The only other time he did it without wrecking his arm was with the help of Eri. Don't believe me in this instance? Check out the ending with the manga panels. His arm should be completely busted up and darkened, but the gear must have saved him from a much rougher ending. But man, the shock on his face as he realized what he just did. I know this is meant to be a death battle, but that doesn't mean Deku wouldn't walk away from this with immense guilt. And as he lands, we've transitioned out of the comic world and back into manga, mirroring the opening by showing Deku giving true respect to his opponent. Extremely accurate to Deku's canon writing. So first off, I will never sing his praises enough, but Moro, my man. No matter how many times I watch your animations, I will never tire of your unique art style and animation movement. Rest assured, I'm going to be following his work for a long time. That being said, one of the best things this animation has going for it is just how much of a love letter it is to both universes. And honestly, it just feels like it could be an extremely realistic crossover, like both characters exist in the same Earth and just happen to get into the fight. The city and the aesthetic reflect the Spider-Verse movies so well that in some shots, it's hard to distinguish between the actual movie style and Moro's style. Hell, anytime Miles isn't fluidly moving around, you can see the halftones of the movie art style around his body. Acknowledging so many of their unique skills, such as Deku not only adapting in the moment, and using moves that were only seen once in the manga, like Black Chain, as well as using all of his quirks, while Miles uses a combination of his game, movie, and comic attacks, like Mega Venom Blasts, Overdrive, and Sword attacks, and just general Venom Touch. I mean, it was bound to happen when it's quite literally a battle to the death, but it's still great to show that all the research the first 15 minutes of the video goes through isn't just thrown to the wind. Now, I've been gushing over the animation and the writing, but there's a couple things I haven't even touched yet. The voice acting is surprisingly top-notch. Christian Mart nails Miles' unique swagger and Brooklyn tenacity while still making the voice his own. And John Van Doren does an amazing impression of Justin Briner. Like, it actually took me a little time to distinguish the two apart. And the music, dude. You Say Danger is such an incredible track, and it celebrates both universes just as well as the animation, with the iconic Spider-Verse style of hip-hop and rapping, mixed with the epicness of a My Hero orchestra. Brandon Yates not only nailed the music, but he and Trey Watson wrote and made incredible lyrics to make a true rap battle. It's already been on repeat for me for quite a bit, so that's how you know it's good. I'm sure the question will come up in the comments, so I'll address it here. Do I agree with the outcome? Yes, absolutely. Flag me for it all you want, call me an MHA simp, I don't care. Even ignoring that I know a lot more of My Hero than I do the Ultimate Spider-Man comic run, I knew Deku was winning this before even watching it. One for All is one of the most overpowered super abilities ever conceived, and in the hands of Deku it was basically a glass and nuke. Give Miles all the protection you want, but there was no way he was going to get around it. Now don't get me wrong, Miles definitely put up a good fight, and got solid hits in. He has more practical experience than Deku after all, but when it came down to raw strength, Midoriya never went all out until the very end of the fight. Once he goes all out, the fight's decided.